All right, Cancer. Now, we're going to begin with the Eight of Wands reverse at the bottom of the deck. I was sitting here in the general reading talking all about all of this motion, all these things that are happening, all these moving pieces. And here's this Eight of Wands reverse, which can sometimes feel like you're hitting a brick wall. You're most effective. Now, I know you're doing a lot with your hands, right? I know you're doing a lot in the office. You're doing a lot with like the actual work part of this. But the majority of the effects is really in your magical abilities, your manifestation abilities within your visualizations. So don't be surprised if like there is a lot of push-pull. Like Sagittarius is so expansive, but then you also have the ruler of Sag, Jupiter, still in the 8th. We've got Venus coming to that conjunction with Pluto. 6th house can also be a very restrictive, highly analytical house, so just because it doesn't move super, super fast does not mean things are not happening. Sometimes I think people get very discouraged and therefore tempted to go back to the old way. They get tempted to do that because when they push into something new, like a new endeavor of some kind, a new relationship, and then it hits this point of like, wow, you have to really be dedicated, or you have to really commit, or you have to be really vulnerable, or you have to really confront those parts of yourselves. And man, is that uncomfortable, and does that make you feel vulnerable? And then people are like, nope, I'm going to pull away. And only the few, the most, the brave, that's a big theme. I'm going to keep saying that 2022, brave versus cowards. Only the truly brave soldier on. And so I think this Eight of Wands reversed is here saying, might not officially go as smoothly as you think. The things that you think will be the effects of what you're doing might not be the actual effects of what you're doing. And you're just going to have to deal with that. Because sometimes we go into something with a very, we want to go into something to make money, right? We want to go into something to give back. Or again, like I said, there's a lot of giving. There's a lot of alchemizing the things that you are receiving and helping other people and guiding other people. Even the effects of that might not quite be what you're projecting them to be. Okay? So the openness with the Nine of Wands reverse here, the openness of the gates is actually a really beautiful thing, because then you're not going to be super judgmental of like, well, that's not what it's supposed to be, and then slam the door shut. You're like, well, maybe that is what it is supposed to be. Let me go through this door. Right? A lot of people don't go through doors that they don't expect to be open. You see? Now we're clarifying the Queen of Cups over here, Miss Annie. Okay, we're clarifying the Queen of Cups, which is the signifier of what the universe needs from you. The universe does not need you to fight back, or it needs you to not fight back. It doesn't need you to push. It doesn't need you to defend yourself. You don't need to defend your life. You don't need to defend your livelihood. You don't need to defend anything. In fact, you should not be defending things. You should not be justifying things. You know that you are on a good path. You know that your energy is right. You know that you are healing. You know that you are becoming an empowered being every day. It's getting more and more and more. You're getting stronger. You're getting more confident. You don't owe anything to anybody. You are safe, you are secure, and the universe needs you to know that because you are faithful in that, there is going to be like what is the ultimate goal anyway, which is this incredible sense of fulfillment. Feels like you are truly a part of something bigger than yourself, which is what happens when you have such heavy upper house activation going on. And you're going to have that, okay, because we're going to have this Kala Sarpa Yoga. As soon as Mars comes after that South Node, like on the 15th, 16th or 17th of December, once that Mars comes over the South Node, all the planets are going to be very heavily weighted in that on one half of the nodes, right? They're all going to be in that upper 180 degrees. And most of those planets are going to be houses 7 through 11. So this does have a lot to do with your place in society, your place in humanity, your contribution to humanity. And because you've got Uranus in Taurus in the 11th, that's a major driving factor in your life, humanity, and helping to change through healing, Chiron in the 10th. Okay? It needs you to feel that you're in the right place. It needs you to feel safe with what you're doing, even if the money is not showing up yet, even if the right clients haven't knocked on the door yet. Because in the environment position, I can't see anything other than extraordinary abundance and even idealistic levels of things and situations and people that you are meant to receive. Romantic love. And I'm feeling just the word love, but romantic love can be a part of it, but it can also not be a part of it. It can also be just like love, like universe love. Like I kind of often feel like the kind of, love that you have for a child or a pet, right? It's that kind of absolute unconditional acceptance of who and what they are kind of love. And the universe is going to be trickling these things in, and it's going to be like almost, I'm going to use the word fantasy because Neptune direct, like one fantasy fulfillment after the next. And it won't just be like a fantasy fulfillment that doesn't necessarily meet expectations because it's always better in your head than it is in real life. This is going to be like way better in real life than you ever thought in your head. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be worth it. Now we have this 9 of Wands reversed here. Okay, and we have the 2 of Swords, the Knight of Cups, which is a Piscean energy, and we have the 8 of Cups. See, you are no longer, now I know you're Cancerians, and I know Cancerians can definitely have like this boundary or this wall. It's very common. You have this hard shell, right? We think of the crab, a very hard shell, a very vulnerable interior. But I feel that the hard shell, it's not so much a boundary to keep things out, because you know that if you have this hard wall, not only does it keep things out, but it also keeps things in, and you therefore are not as free. And I feel that there is this new way of defining boundaries, and you may be learning a lot about boundaries because of Saturn through Aquarius. You may be learning a lot about boundaries and how there are good kinds of boundaries and there are not so good kind of boundaries, and you have to deconstruct the not so good kind of boundaries because those are ultimately festering and nurturing fear. And that's not what you want. And slowly but surely you are opening your gates. You are opening up your filters. You are opening up and letting in this fresh air. You are letting in this light, and you are moving away from the old. Again, it's moving away from the status quo. It's moving away from the normal way, whether it's your normal or society's normal or culture's normal or whatever institutional normal, moving away from that and creating your own way, a way that suits you, a way that nurtures and harnesses your real success and your real love. Pisces has no boundaries. Neptune going direct in the third decan of Pisces, right? 20 degrees, 24 minutes. This is technically the Pluto-ruled decan, the scorpionic portion of the Pisces 30 degrees using modern Western astrology. And Pluto offers the death of many, many things, and Neptune comes through and kind of obliterates, not only does it obliterate illusions, but it obliterates the things that you thought were keeping yourself safe that weren't. Okay, so you've never been more realistic, and you've also never been more optimistic before. You kind of have both, and you're understanding how both can work and how both can coincide. And you're leaving behind not only maybe people, but you're leaving behind a whole way of thinking and about things. Now, this other Queen of Cups, I love the Queen of Cups in this image. She's just so like, she just has this whole mystique, and it is so attractive and has so much gravity to it. You're not going to be able to help but pull people in, to pull things in. You're just so doing the law of attraction thing so well. Now, when I looked at this Seven of Cups, when it very first shuffled out, I was like, oh, you can have it all. That was my first instinctual phrase that came to my mind. You can have it all, right? No limits. With the Knight of Cups over here, you don't have limits here. Ask for everything you want. This magic, you get to it, like there are literally infinite number of timelines that you can walk down. Like in this very moment, you may have a choice to like get in an airplane and go down to like Chile or something, and all of a sudden decide to start hiking through Patagonia, if that's what you want, right? Or you also have the option to like go and volunteer with something and end up in some Central African community and helping people there. You have some option to invent something and put it to market and make $1 billion, right? Like you have that option. You are 100% entirely free to do that. And each one of those choices, each one of those decisions is going to get an infinitely, vastly different, right? Super, super different result. So I ask you, what are all the things you want? And I don't mean want from a traumatized, need validation, satisfying an ego way. Whenever I say want or desire, I always mean, on my channel, I always mean a divinely inspired desire, which is something that pulls you toward a purpose or toward an experience. There is nothing wrong with wanting an experience. Some of you want to have the experience of true love. Others of you want to have the experience of having $1 billion. I don't care. It doesn't matter, right? You can also have a desire to, I don't know. I don't even know. Like there are just so many things. But like, what are all the things? Let's put together a package of all the perfect things. And you can be perfect. Neptune goes direct. Please be perfect. Please be fairy tale. Please be fantasy as much as you possibly can. Limitlessness with the star. Think of the infinite nature of the universe. Think of the possibilities. Think of the structures and the forms of all the galaxies, the stars, the planets, the black holes, and all the other kind of entities out there. Like there is literally nothing on this planet that you could ask for that does not already exist. So ask. Because your magical field is so strong right now. It is so strong, it is so powerful, and it is so magnificent that I would hate to see you cutting yourself off, cutting yourself short, or selling yourself short. Because it is the death of all of the limitations that you have set on yourself. Absolutely. We're just getting started. Now the Ten of Wands, which kind of, I'm looking at all these coin cards, and this is even the Eight of, well, all of them, right? Really? This is the problem this is when the temptation gets people, because they might be getting a little bit page of coins level, but they're not getting the big stuff. They're not getting the big reward, the big payout, the big payday. They're not getting the big clients or but they just made all these changes, right? They just made all these changes. And this is when the patient is the real strength, that the patience is the strength. The patience is the superpower. Because it doesn't mean that these aren't coming. It doesn't mean that these aren't available to you. It just means that the adjustments are still occurring. Remember, the Wheel of Fortune is not fast. It is breadcrumby. There's one after the next, after the next, after the next. And see, people get very, very frustrated because they can't see. They can't see where it's going to come from. They can't see or understand why they had to, like, they don't understand why it's not happening immediately for them. And people can get greedy in these moments, and they can get entitled. And the people who do that are going to be the people that lose out. And that's a very, very unfortunate reality of the situation. So you just have to be conscious that, look, you just made these changes. You just began this endeavor. You just really started doing this magic. And it takes a while sometimes for the world to really catch up. But it will. Saturn is in Aquarius, and he is very, very good at manifestation when he is in Aquarius. So this is a matter of faith. And I hate to always say that, because I feel like I always say that. Just have faith, just have faith. But I mean, really, like, how many things have actually worked out really well for you? Right? I'm sure a lot of things have worked out well for you. And it really is just a matter of being available to it, to allow it to really come forward. Because this inspiration isn't just for nothing. Chiron goes direct. Here's Queen of Wands. Here's Aries. Like, this is a month of like full charge ahead. Stay committed to what you are doing. Stay on track. Take on this very Mars-like quality. And even the Six of Swords is very much on path. Even this is a Scorpio card. We have a Scorpio card and an Aries card. Both of these are ruled by Mars. Okay. And Mars is just like, look, it doesn't matter. Win or lose, I'm in the battle. That's all that matters. The battle, the journey, the adventure, the process, that is what we must commit to. Because you have a desire, a burning desire. Her third eye chakra is like on fire, right? It's like a burning desire. It is a inspired and an illuminated desire. I know that you know that what you're doing is helping. It might not be all the people. You might not have all the followers. You may not have all the clients. You may not have all the things, but you are guiding. You're a leading force. People are willing to follow. They are willing to hear what you have to say. They are willing to really connect with you and to take your experience to heart. And that supersedes the material reward in anybody's book, I think. I think we can all agree, like, having money is really great. You know, having a relationship is really great. But is having a relationship as good as having a relationship with someone that you really love? Right? Like, a lot of us can just have a relationship. But we all want it to be like that special relationship. Now, the Chariot, and I love the Hierophant coming out for the Chariot. I absolutely love it, because the Hierophant is such a strong, self-rooted force. I always say he's like the inner Buddha or the inner guru, where he is just like totally in his space, in his sphere. He is completely committed to himself. And what did I say in the general portion of this reading, right? Even though the Venus-Pluto thing is happening in Capricorn opposite of you, 7th house also aspects the first, so there is a lot of self-focus for you. Now, the Hanged Man is here again as that reminder, yet again, to say, don't worry, Cancer. You will have a moment to come down off this tree, but right now you are coming into heightened states of wisdom, heightened states of consciousness, which is why the commitment to the path is that much more important, because there is no attainment of anything here, really. There is no end marker. You are in this suspended, continual, or perpetual state of a journey. And here you are happily doing so, 8 of Coins. And I love that you love what you're doing. I love that you have a passion, and I love that you're not really driven by anything except that inner motivation, because inner motivation is often hard to come by, right? Because there are times when we don't feel like it. There are times when we're like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed today, or I'm not really feeling it. I don't really want to talk to this person, you know? But when you have the inner motivation that is burning inside of you, this is the beautiful thing about the Virgo quality, is that just there's this motivation that just comes from somewhere. Like, I may be a Virgo, but I'm a 12th house Virgo, so I don't always identify so heavily with the Virgo energy. However, I do know a lot of other Virgos who have strong Virgo stuff. And the one thing I admire about the Virgo archetype so much is their capacity to have the energy and the will to truly get it done. And they're the Energizer bunnies. Boom, 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 boom. It just channels through them. And I feel like that's a lot of what's coming through with the 6th house for you here. Even this is a Virgo card, of course. But I'm going to put the Hierophant on top because this is really the more powerful, because this is what drives the Chariot. 6 of Swords reversed. And we had the 6 of Swords direct here. I say direct like a planet, upright, 6 of Swords upright here. So I don't necessarily think that there is true hesitation. I only think there is a temptation for hesitation. See, and even here, I think all the Court cards coming out, they may or may not represent other people, but I think they are all aspects of you. And you're kind of like, on a day-to-day basis, maybe even on an hourly basis, you're like putting on different hats. 1 minute you're going to be super in your Mars energy and doing. And then others you're going to be in your Sun energy. This is a card of Leo. You're going to be in the Sun energy, and you're going to be focusing on the big picture and the big vision and the actual creation of things. Now, remember I said the universe needs you to know that you are safe. We also have a 4 of Wands here. You are safe in your creations and your visions. And even here, a card of prosperity and wealth. I love when the Wheel of Fortune and the 3 of Wands and the 2 of Wands, which we got in one of these upper piles, 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, and Wheel of Fortune, all are indications of wealth and prosperity. I always say the ships are on their way here. This can be a frustrating time for a lot of people because they get annoyed with tarot readers when they say, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Any minute now. I'm not going to tell you when this is going to happen for you because it's not going to happen uniform for every single Cancerian at the same time. Okay? Some may experience it this month. Some may experience it next year. I don't know. Right? I don't know your own individual charts, and I can't time things in that way. But I can tell you to stay extremely optimistic as you can. And I would make a point to be as optimistic as you possibly can, to a degree that annoys other people. You know, one thing with the Gemini reading was they got this card over here, which was the Grand Cross, but it was the word provocation, or provoked, I think was the word, provoked. And I do feel like people who are growing in this way, in the way that you are provoking the people who are not. But that is not your problem. Unfortunately, they may want to make it your problem, but it is not your problem, okay? Page of Wands reversed, see, 7 of Wands. They're going to want to make it your problem, but here you are victoriously emerging from that kind of drama, from the battle. This is always a card of victory and success, always. It is always a card that's a positive omen that says, like, you got this. There is a success in this for you somewhere, and this is something for you to be proud of. To be proud of your ability to hold this magic in place, to keep that mindset, to keep that emotional state. Because unfortunately, it's the people who fluctuate emotionally that never accomplish the things that they set out to accomplish. They give up. Cancer is not a give up energy at all. Cardinals aren't. Mutables, like, yeah, okay. Mutables can give up easy because that's what they do. They end things, you know, so they're good at ending things. Cardinals start things. They complete things. They accomplish things. This is a time for you to be proud of what you're doing. It's a time for you to be proud of the track that you are taking, even though, even Ace of Coins, Ace of Swords, like there's this dragging of things coming. But see, this is you, Queen of Coins, upright. The abundance is within you. It is not external. You are giving your abundance by doing what you're doing. You are sharing, right? I almost kind of am seeing other people feasting at your table. Thanksgiving reference maybe, but you see other people are feasting at your table because of what you are and what you are choosing to do with your life. That is the validation. We often look to money or relationships or certain circumstances. We look at those things as a measure. But we need to start going internally and measuring from within. Measuring of, are we being who we know we are? Because who we are is not fearful. Who we are is not tethered. And Six of Cups reversed. Why am I feeling so much external negativity? I don't quite know why. Feeling external negativity, I'm feeling other people really not liking your choices. Five of Swords. Because what you're doing, it kind of shows them that what they're doing isn't working either. It shows them that they are out of date. See, what I'm sensing is a lot of progressiveness. It's a lot of modern. It's a very modern approach to things. They seem to be stuck in an old world. This is very much new earth versus old earth. Like, for real. You're in the new earth and they are not. And they are seeing the contrast and man, they don't like it. But look, here it is, 10 of Coins. This is the ultimate in the payout. And this is what's important. Because all of these reversed coins, again, it doesn't mean they're not on their way. It doesn't mean they'll never come. In fact, I would say the opposite. I would say they are actually in the works. And the more in the work you are, the more attractive you will be. I'm hearing the words like the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I'm hearing that word. That's another part of the temptation over here. People are going to have the fear of missing out, and they're going to be making haphazard decisions because they are so terrified that they are going to lose out on an opportunity. That is not, like, when you experience a fear of missing out, that is a time to like really check yourself and to really say, okay, is that just me in this moment? And probably the answer is yes. It is just you in this moment feeling that temptation to go in a different route. But I guarantee if you stick to the route that you have intuitively and inspirationally chosen, all will be well. Make your spider spirit, make your dreams real. That's what's happening. That's what's happening in this instant. You are making your dreams real. And Neptune going direct is going to facilitate like your dreams being your own muse. You know, your fantasies are the muse. Last card. Take steps toward positive change, the battle of the blues. You may have a couple of down days, right? You're a moon ruled, so we've got still an eclipse coming up here in the next few days in Sagittarius, a new moon eclipse, and then the moon is going to be coming through Capricorn, hitting up against the Venus-Pluto conjunction. You know, she's going to be pulled at some awkward angles for you. And it is possible that you may feel, you know, heightened states of sensitivity during those few days as the moon is waxing toward that full moon in Gemini, okay? And as that is the case, you can give yourself a break, but only to an extent. Because if you give yourself a break to do the pity party thing, that is the temptation winning. Okay, and I think that this is I don't want to call it an internal battle, because I feel like that's a terrible way of looking at something. But this is about the true awareness of your own duality, right? And as the sun in Sag is a beautiful thing, but it also aspects Gemini. And so it's going to illuminate the duality, the polarity, the two twins that exist within. So you will become better acquainted with your duality and your polarized self. Nothing wrong with that, but you also don't want to let the fearful, trapped part of you pull the free and truly liberated part of you into its cage. So just be aware of the dialogue that's going on. Be aware of the pulling, and be aware of how empowered you feel when you overcome that negativity. Okay? All right, Cancer. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing month. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.